Hello everyone. In 1997, Simeon and I facilitated a sacred journey to Egypt. This was the first time I'd ever done anything like this, and only the second time I ever would, to make a journey to another country for that purpose. Thoth guided this facilitation with some specific formats he wished us to work with. In my communications with him, he relayed that he wished it to be called the Path of HORUS. Well, not to go too deeply into this, but Horus, of course, is the son of Osiris, but according to my Thoth Akashic investigations, he is also the soul of Osiris. So Osiris and Horus are the same soul. It's a little more complex than that actually, but we won't go into all of that here. But for the purpose of this video series, the Path of Horus was intended to relate to the tone of bringing one through their own ascension dynamic, allowing them to feel and sense and to receive the codes that were the beginning in that time in 1997 of their own self-discoveries with what Thoth calls the ascension dynamics, which isn't just the glory of ascending to another realm. It has to do with every moment in our lives and how we choose to dedicate those moments to opening the scroll of our inner being and allowing our true light forms to manifest in the flesh and beyond. We're not on this earth as a punishment, as much as it may seem that way at times. We are here to embody light. And we've got a little off on that. We just really didn't quite hold the tone for that experience. That's true. And that's why we've had a lot of suffering along the way. But to bring us back into the inscription of light means to bring us back to the path of Horus, metaphorically speaking. That path of becoming the capstone, the igniting frequency of spirit into and through the portal of our own ascension, heart ascension, and finally physical ascension. To understand more about Horus's role, you need to go to my Osiris Arising Project web blog, and there you'd find more information on the balance between Thoth and Osiris and Horus and Isis and all of those living energies, which are also have become archetypes. And so on this journey that we took, in each temple from Isis through Heliopolis, Thoth has given a spiritual focus and Christic pure symbol for the individual to work with. This includes a phrase, which Yeshua, Jesus Christ, spoke during his lifetime on the earth that correlates with the spiritual focus. These phrases come from the records of Thoth and not the current Bible, although the first one there, it's a variation of something that is in the Bible. The rest are not, as to my knowledge. So he was asking us that after the arc chanting, etc., is already given, we state the focus, symbol, and Jesus' phrase for that temple along with the Christic path, and tell everyone to disperse separately through the temple in a time of silence to integrate that focus and symbol into their being through the sacredness of the holy ground they are upon and within. So first we went, we did our ark chanting, which has to do with the alphabet of the ark, and everyone was given their sacred name ark template, and they worked with that previous to the trip. And then they wore around their neck a little necklace that one of our members made. It had a rolled up scroll inside it, embedded inside the talisman, that was their ark name. And they chanted it in the Great Pyramid while lying in the sarcophagus. There are a lot of things that went on with all of that. So the journey was really very powerful. There were some, dark and light moments because we're in Egypt, and that is a place that has experienced both dark and light. And the balance of the two comes within the inner human being as they go through the processes of these initiations. My purpose of making this video series, however, is to bring back to those of you who didn't experience the trip with us, to bring this forth, some of the symbols and the initiating qualities that presided in each of these temples. Now, I have not done this in depth. This is not an in-depth series. It's more just putting it forth to you, and then allowing each of you to take that in within and think about it and feel it and see what you're experiencing with it, and then create your own path of Horus that you do in your own space, on your own time, when you feel it appropriate for you, if indeed you do. How you integrate it, in other words, into your own sacred lifestyle. So these are just touch points, is what they are. And as such, though, I am doing them in a way that I feel is activational, that will reach your inner subtle subconscious space and allow that to integrate into the inner path that you're already upon, to sort of blossom it and allow it to perhaps expand in the direction of the path of Horus. I've also added in this series one temple that was not on the list, that we didn't go to. You see, Thoth wanted us to go to very specific temples, and within them to very specific places in some instances. For instance, the Great Pyramid of Giza, we went directly into the King's Chamber. We never entered the Queen's Chamber. We never went any place else in that complex, just into the King's Chamber. We also visited the Sphinx, but that was a separate entity, so to speak. But within the Great Pyramid, that is the only place we went. And we went at 12 midnight and stayed for 3 or 4 hours. We were the only people in there, needless to say, our group, which was about, I don't remember the exact number, but maybe 16 of us. And so each one of these places, we just passed by all these temples and everything. We just went to specific places. That was all. And so the temple that I've added, I'm adding because Thoth requested it. Now is the time, he said, to add this temple for all of you. It's part of expressing the Osiris Arising project and sort of bringing that into this this path, which really wasn't timely in 1997, but is now. So at the very last part, that will be included before we enter into cyanide. So with that I conclude my intro to all of you, and I hope you enjoy the series. Thank you.